Alright everyone, this is the second video of today and we are addressing the elephant in the living room. Yes, that is Mr. Don Wells. In this video it's a mix of a voiceover and some original audio, so if you notice any audio quality differences then that's why. But without further ado, Don Wells is back. If you've been following the Summer Wells case over the last few months, things have gone very, very quiet. People who've been talking about Summer, keeping her name and face out there, I'm glad that people have been doing that. But the videos about Summer and her case have become less and less. That one's tried to climb out. And in recent months, the main focus of people's videos has been Jodie Sue Brown, the then neighbour of the Wells, her that supposedly heard the scream, and the news about Ronnie Lawson's son Brandon Lawson being an RSO. Things like that have given people reason to talk about Summer's case. The last update we had from law enforcement was at the 12-month mark. That was 7 months ago when the TBI and Hawkins County did a joint press conference, basically to tell us that they had nothing. It's nearly a year, it was the beginning of April 2022, when for the first and only time Detective John Pruitt, the lead investigator at Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, came and did a little interview with Ansley Daniel.
All possibilities are on the table. We're not completely eliminating the abduction idea, but there's nothing to lead us to believe that we need to focus on that alone. We have gone through reams and reams of data. We've collected statements. We've chased down every credible lead that has been given to us, and we are still not much further along than when we started.
Cell tracking, cell data, GPS, everything. They'd done everything. They weren't much further forward than when they started. John Pruitt's exact words. So that's my granddad, my nan, and then my nan's grandparents, Herbert, who was a policeman, and Annie, who was his wife. In memory of my dear husband, police pensioner Herbert Hoyle, from his ever-loving wife, Rock of Ages. So Don Wells went to jail at the beginning of February 2022 and he came out on October 30th, just in time for Halloween. And he's been very quiet. You know, there was a lot of speculation when he first came out about was he going to hop onto YouTube? Was he going to just resume his drunken rants and flitting from this YouTube channel and that YouTube channel? And no, there was nothing. And that is until this week. It was Cam from Cracking Cases who said that he'd been speaking to Don, and Don kept ringing him during lives, and Cam was very careful, cautious about letting Don speak, because allegedly Don wasn't supposed to speak on YouTube. Well, who told him that? Was that a court order? How can the court tell him not to speak? I could understand them wanting him not to speak, even if they can't order him not to, because it was an absolute fiasco. And as far as I know, there's still a gag order against anybody, including Don and Candice, talking about the case regarding the boys. Tilly, come here. Don't wander off. The boys have been in CPS care since July, middle of July. Went to school with him. So 18 months they've been living with a foster family. Do they even want to go back to Don and Candice? Cassie. Right. They're always badly behaved when they come in here. I think it's just confusing, like the smells. Must be strange. Because some of these, there's like four to a grave, and the last one to go in is really near the surface. Now you're tangled up. I can't let you off because you'll never come back in here. Will you? Come on, this way. I've got another person that I went to school with in here. Who's an alcoholic. She died in her 30s. I can't remember where she's resting now. I know it's on this side because these are the newer ones. I just never remember. Cassie, come on, this way. Alcohol, drugs, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It appears that Don is back on YouTube doing his usual stuff. And a couple of nights ago, he was on Crime, Crazy and Critters on the Farm, Miss Daisy's channel. And if you want to go and watch it, it was a long live stream. He came in about the 2-hour 40 mark or such, but Don was ranting. He was ranting about everything. He's apparently in Arizona. He's trying to get work. He can't get work in Tennessee. He went to Florida and then hightailed it back because of the drugs. In this appearance, he was all over. He was walking about. His eyes look strange. I think he's on something, or he's drunk. I don't know, but he was ranting. What was he saying to Cam about he couldn't appear on YouTube, but yet here he is on YouTube ranting at people? Now, you know, I understand that he came to YouTube originally to raise awareness for summer, to use social media for its potential benefits in these kind of cases, to get the news out, and everyone attacked him. But what Don has got to see, surely, is that even if him or Candice or Grandma or anyone else that he knows had absolutely nothing to do with the disappearance of Summer, that people are going to attack somebody who comes online, who's got a missing daughter, who is drunk, who is ranting, who is abusive. This kind of behaviour is never going to work out for Don or the family of any missing child. Everybody scrutinises the parents, the families of missing children. You can be squeaky clean and still be criticised, still be called that you were to blame. It can be within hours of a child going missing, that once social media gets hold of it, you don't even have to speak. You don't even have to say anything, and people will blame you. So it's no surprise, it shouldn't be any surprise to anybody that people attack Don when he behaves like this, when addiction has been the thing that has marred their lives. And Don said that, you know, they were happy before Summer disappeared. Well, I don't think they were. I mean, no, none of us knew them before Summer disappeared. None of us really knows him now, even those that have met him don't really know him. You know, you can look at him and you can see a grieving father. And I think he is. I think he is a grieving father. I think he is. But at the same time, you see somebody whose addictions and bad life choices are still getting in the way of him having a relationship with his sons. Summer may never be found, and that's heartbreaking. And no one, surely, would be more heartbroken than her family if she was never found and there was never any explanation as to what happened to her. What year is this? 1897. Another one, 1897. 1932. So let's say Royal Engineers, 14th of February 1919, age 29. Well, these surnames are dead familiar, like their descendants live round here. Gores, Faircloughs, Hatches. Live round here for generations after generations. Just like they do in Hawkins County. I think 1897 is the oldest by lots of things. Right, come on, we're going now. These are the Cremains. Cremain area. Right, we're going now, so I want sensible heads on. I want sensible head back on. Cassie, are you listening? No, you're not listening. Go on. But there are 3 other children. You know, in a few years' time, when they're 18, and Miss Daisy said, you know, they'll be 18 soon enough and then they'll be adults. You know, he said that they're being brainwashed by the foster family. But they don't need to be brainwashed to see what's gone on online, on multiple YouTube channels. Seeing these rants and the parents putting their addictions before them. That's what they'll see. You know, Don's refused to go to rehab. When he was sentenced, the judge gave him the option of doing 180 days in jail and then going on a rehab program. And he didn't take that. He chose to stay in jail until the 30th of October. He didn't take that for whatever reason. You know, no, rehab ain't going to work if you don't want it to. But the fact that they've not fulfilled what was required of them by the courts to get their boys back, that's the thing that their boys are going to see. That's the thing that their boys are going to remember. And that's very, very sad. They've lost a sister to substance misuse. That's what they'll remember about their father. And I was really, really hoping that Don would stay off YouTube and that Don would have sorted his life out. That the time in jail, when via cam he said that they tried to break him. And I've no doubt that they did, because it would have been a very, very easy fix for law enforcement to be able to pin Summer's disappearance on one or both parents. It would have been very easy to try and break Don and try and get him to make some kind of confession. But what if Don doesn't know anything? What if all the trying to break him in the world ain't going to work because he had nothing to do with Summer's disappearance? And I really hoped that that time in jail would have sorted his head out and he could have come back to his real life and buckled down and got his house sorted. But no, he's more angry than ever. So I think, honestly, the time in jail has given him time to ruminate and become even more negative. And now the cat's out the bag, the genie's unleashed, Pandora's out of the box, or whatever other cliche I could use here. We're seeing a version of Don Wells that is in no way changed. Everything's the same as he was before he went to jail. And that's very sad. And he's trying to rewrite history. He's trying to say that CPS kidnapped his boys. No, they didn't. They didn't. Those boys were taken away, allegedly, because Candice rang them, saying that Don was on drugs. And when they came and they did a drug test on them both, they were both positive for drugs. And that's why the boys were taken. That's the story, anyway, that I've heard from several people. Not because Summer disappeared, but because Candice rang them. And Don said at the time that it was a good thing because his property was too dangerous. He tried to say it was YouTubers that were making it too dangerous. Don is now trying to rewrite history to say that CPS kidnapped his boys and they're being brainwashed, and I don't think that's true. And all this ranting, yeah, people are talking about Summer's case again. It's raising awareness of Summer's case. But he's doing it in the worst way possible. It will wind people up. Creators are lining up to talk to Don. I do see a very hurt, a very angry man. But I see somebody who is making excuses. I see somebody who hasn't learnt a thing from the last 19 months. If YouTube has hurt him so badly, why is he on YouTube? Why is he talking to this YouTuber and that YouTuber? It didn't work before. It's not going to work now. Because even parents who are squeaky clean get blamed when a child goes missing. Don coming back to YouTube in the same frame of mind that he was is never going to end well. If he'd come back and he was a completely different man, yes, there would have been the people who would have still attacked him, would have blamed him, tried to set him up. But it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. People think badly of him, so he'll behave badly. And these excuses that he's made, he's probably been like that all his life. And I feel for him, I really do. I really do. But at the end of the day, you can't defend the undefendable. You can't defend somebody who doesn't seem to want to help themselves, and that might sound judgy, that might sound harsh, but you can't defend the undefendable. And no, I don't believe he had anything to do with Summer's disappearance, I don't. But we're seeing the life that Summer and her brothers had. We're seeing the life that Summer and her brothers experienced. We're seeing the addiction playing out in front of us. And that is so, so sad. And you just can't defend that. You just can't defend that, guys. I can't defend that. So, yeah, he's still got 7 alibis. Candice still has none. But if law enforcement have done all the things that they said they've done, then they'll know the parents' movements. They'll know that their story broadly checks out. They can't pin anything on them. They've searched that property high and low. They can't pin anything on them. Law enforcement, in my opinion, have always had the responsibility to handle what's going on social media. Now, there's obviously only so much they can do, but I think Moscow PD, with the Idaho 4 case, did well in those first few weeks by coming out and saying that they did not think that Jack D, Jack S, hoodie guy, the surviving roommates, and a few other people, the driver, they didn't think they had anything to do with the case. I wish law enforcement in this case would come out and say, we don't think this person and this person and this person had anything to do with Summer's disappearance. I wish they'd say that. Now, to Benny Keys, Detective John Pruitt said that Jodie Sue Brown wasn't a suspect. Well, okay, who else isn't a suspect? People come out and say they've been cleared, but law enforcement doesn't speak. Law enforcement need to come out and give the public something. Summer's been lost since June 15th, 2021. But Summer couldn't be further away from people's minds when Don comes out and behaves badly. And that is very sad. Very, very, very sad. All right, let me know what you think. Please don't start being really negative towards certain creators in the comments. That's not the reason for this video. All right, bye guys.